Welcome to Busy Little Motorhome Company. Today I'm going to show you around Wayfarer, which is the same vehicle as Quest, so this video is for both vehicles. To start off, they are 7.5 meters long, 2.3 wide and 3.2 tall. If you've looked at the specification on Roller Team 696, you will notice that it is advertised as shorter. We add on the extra to account for the solar panel system on top and the aerials, so that's why we say 3.2 tall. Then I'm going to go to the keys. First of all, you have got your drive key on forward and you've got your alarm system, and then we have the identifiers of the vehicle. In this case, it's Wayfarer. On the other keys, we have this key, which is for everything back of the forward front to lock the doors and the lockers, and then this is the tracker. These need to be kept separate at all times. Do not join them together because that voids the insurance and then you are fully liable for the vehicle if it does go missing. So always keep separate, put them in separate pockets, or even give one to a person who you're traveling with. So then we're going to go to our forward key. You press the flip, the key comes out. You've got unlock on top, which you'll see the lights go, and then lock in the middle. And of course, the sliding door is redundant on this because it does not have that being a motorhome. Then we're going to go on to our alarm. So holding it with the key ring in your hand, and it is the top small button with the dimples. The bottom one isn't actually a button, it's decoration. So press it, this will flash, and then the alarm is being set. That will flash every 20 seconds, every second for 20 seconds until it is set. And then once it is set, it will intermittently flash every 10 seconds to let you know it's armed. These blue lights are around the vehicle to show that it is armed, okay? To turn it off, press exactly the same small button, that will flash, and then those will no longer flash as it's not armed. I will show you some more settings inside to do with the alarm system when we get in the cab. Okay, so inside the cab, first of all, I've got my two keys. My one with the tracker, I always pop in the cup holder there because it has to be within a meter of the driving column when you're driving. That tells us that the vehicle is safe, it's with the people it should be. If for some reason you leave it in the back or a person has got it in their pocket and they've stepped out to a shop, it will ping. The insurance company will get in touch with us and we will call you. So please always answer the phone because we're checking that the vehicle is safe. If you don't answer, it will be monitored really heavily. And if it looks like it's going somewhere that you haven't kind of indicated, so that you're going, say, for example, to a port where you've told us you're going to Scotland and you're down in Portsmouth, then obviously we can disengage the engine and it will stop. So always answer the phone. We are calling for a reason. And of course, our vehicles are all hands-free. And if you've got someone with you, they can answer on your behalf. So then we go to the key, flip it, pop it in, and I said that this video is for both Wayfarer and for Quest. This one's the automatic, so to start, foot on the brake and then turn. On Quest being a manual, you put your foot on the clutch and then turn. I'm not going to turn the engine on for now because it will drown out my voice on the video. And then steering wheel, standard, just like a car. You've got your indicators and high beam this side. You've got your windscreen wipers and washers this side. And then you've got your cruise control here and your multifunctional for your music and stuff there. Then you've got your headlights down here and your mirrors. And then I'm going to do the handbrake and the operation alarm system. So handbrake is weird and wonderful. You can see it doesn't do anything. It is on at the minute. It's indicated by an exclamation mark, like in your car, on the dashboard. So you just lift it so it's where it should usually be when it's on engage. And then you apply the pressure and press the button and pull it up and all the way down. And then it disappears on the dashboard. To put it back on, just simply pull it up. So that can take a little while to get used to. When you come, we can show you that because it does catch people off guard. Then down here, we have got the buttons for the alarm system, which I mentioned. There are a few settings. So on the bottom, they're all off at the moment. So if you press this one on, the red light, we have got that one represents the internal sensors. So that means if they're on and somebody smashes the glass, the alarm's going to go off. You turn it off when you're sleeping at night time. And then you've got the blue one, which matches the lights on the outside of the vehicle. At the moment, they're not off, they are just dimmed. And when it's down and it's on, that means that those lights are really pushing the light out and they do kind of get really bright. And when we have them here on the drive, sometimes it's like a little bit of a disco. So on a campsite, you might want to dim them. And then this one is for the bike rack, which I will show when we go to the rear of the vehicle, that we do have the bike loops, which then you can arm. So if you're not carrying bikes and it's not connected, that does need to be off, otherwise the alarm will constantly go off. So as a rule, we always have this one off and these two on. And then when those two are on, we say that's for the daytime when you're out and about and no one's with the vehicle. And then in the nighttime, we always say put them to off. So then you can walk around while the alarm is engaged. And then you have the lights on a dimmer mode not to annoy your neighbours. However, if you are wild camping, make sure that one high blue lights are on the outside so people can see the vehicle is heavily armed. So moving back inside to the vehicle, this one is an automatic, which is nice and easy. And then you've got Quest, which is on a manual. And to reverse in Quest, you just pull the two fingers up and far left and up. And I'm not going to go through the controls here. There's standard car controls for heating and stuff. I don't need to go through them. The radio is a standard radio. They don't come with sat nav, but we've got this really lovely holder here, which I always pop my phone in, put the top in first, push it up. I get my sat nav going on there. And then I have my music coming through. And then up here, my little freshness come apart. Then we've got the rear camera. It's not a mirror. So if I turn the ignition to on, we can see that the camera is preset to look behind you. So when you're driving, you can always see who's behind you. And then when you go into reverse, then you can see it dips down, so it looks right down to the back. But really, really nice and handy that you can see behind you all the time. I really do love that on the motorhomes as a feature. And then the last thing I'm going to point out are the wing mirrors. Obviously, make sure you can always see behind you. The bottom one we line up with the bottom corner of the vehicle so you can see. And then the top one, you should have the side of the vehicle closest to the edge of the mirror, so you've got really good visibility. And what we say about the mirrors, if you feel you're going through somewhere and you feel you're going to hit the mirror, stop. Because when you have this little bit extra, it sticks out because it is a motorhome, so it's wider than a transit van. And if you've got people are trying to force you through and you're not confident, if you know you're bigger than most people, just stop and just wait for them to pass, because that's when accidents happen, when people are pressurizing you to go through. And just make the, I have no clue, I'll hit your vehicle, I'm a higher vehicle, and they pretty much move out of your way really quickly. I'm now going to show you around the outside of the vehicle, starting on the driver's side. So we've already covered the cab, and these bits that stick out, as we said, just use those wing mirrors as your guide. And then here we have got our fresh water, which is indicated with a lovely bright blue freshwater cap, which is just like a petrol cap, which uses this key. Works in exactly the same way. So obviously do it and it clicks and goes back. And you just pop your hose pipe in there. Only use the blue hose pipe we have provided you with. Don't use one in a campsite, because we have seen people in the past using them to clean their toilets. And of course, this is a freshwater tank, so only use the blue hoses that we give you in the back of the vehicle. When you're done, lock it, pop it down, and then all good. On this one, we have got our gas on this side. So you use this key, and what we do, we turn the key, and then the toggle pops out. Turn the key back, so then it's locked. Otherwise, you can be holding down and trying to figure out how it locks. And then in here, we've got little hooks to hold doors open. This one obviously is above. And then in here, we have got 2 gas canisters. When you go away, if you're only on a short hire, we will provide you with one of whatever's left, usually around half, and then you will have a full spare one. If you were going away for longer, we will always make sure there's 2 full ones. But as an indicator, when we go away, for example, in the summer, we won't even get through half of one in a 2-week period, because you're only really using it to cook. In the winter, though, you can use them quite quickly, because the heating is the biggest drain on the gas. So unless you have hookup, you would use quite a lot. We include whatever's here in your hire. Obviously, if you're away for a while and you need to change them out, that's your responsibility and your money to do so. To start them, you can see it tells you which way is off, which is clockwise. So anti-clockwise, we're going to turn it on. And I'm going to do that now. And then we have got that turned on. Always drive with it off. And then you don't need to touch anything else. You only turn off and on. And this one, if this was to run out, then you can undo this with the spanner and just take that off like you would with a gas barbecue. Make sure it's off first, and then attach it to the new one and make sure then it's all nice and secure, and turn it on, and then you're in your second one. This spanner will always be kept at the bottom here. So when you're driving, as it says, which way is off, and turn it off. So that's the gas, and I've left that on because I'm going to show the systems when we go inside. And then when you're ready to lock that, you turn it, and then you can pop it because we've already locked it. Underneath, we have got the grey water, which is just under here on a handle. And you pull it towards you to empty it, and push it towards you to close. So it was open because we've just checked. So you pull it towards you, and the grey water will drop out underneath. That is only shower and sink water, but you do need to empty that in a designated zone, either on a campsite or in a service station. Do not empty it at side of roads. As much as there's not that bad stuff out there, it can get streaks from like fats and stuff, and people get really funny about it, but also because they are not aware that it's nothing to do with the toilet and they assume it's toilet sewage. So always in a designated zone. So you just close it when you're using the vehicle so that it doesn't drop it to the bottom. And when you get somewhere that you can drop it, you just pull it, parking over the designated area. Then here we have got our electric hookup. So the hookup cable on one side has got a flap. So the flap actually goes inside and pushes on. And then you've got your release button here to pull it off. Always connect the motorhome first and then connect to the site. Otherwise, you're kind of trying to plug in a live lead. So always do the motorhome first and then plug up to the site. And when you're done, just close that off there. And then we have got a garage on this side, but I'm not going to show you it on this side. I will show you the other side because, of course, the garage goes all the way through the back. This side, there's nothing happening. We keep all of the hoses and cables on the other side, so we'll show you that when we get around there. At the back of the vehicle, there's not that much to go through. You've got your cameras up there, which I mentioned on the inside, one to go out and one that goes down. And then we've got our bike rack. We can see that this one has been just affixed at the top, and then we can drop it down. You pop your bikes on, you can fasten your tyres in there, and there's a multiple of arms in the back, which we will usually have on ready for you if you request the bike rack. And then when you have a bike, this is the loop that goes underneath here. There's a circle, and you can see it can only go on one way where there's a dip. And then you pop that in, and then you disconnect these two wires by holding the black, not the wires, wrap them around the bike, and then pop them together. So if anybody tampers with this lead, whether they cut it, pull these apart, or unplug it, when you've got that switch on inside, the alarm will go off, and it's a very, very noisy alarm. So we do provide these for you if you were going to take bikes and you want it as part of the alarm system, but we don't just leave them in anymore because they do go missing and they are very expensive. So if you do need them, just let us know. And these little black bits here do secure with the bike rack, but we obviously do sometimes just put the extra strength on when we're not using them, just to make sure that they do hold up, because over time they obviously do wear a little bit down. But if you're not having a bike rack, we will take it off because people just like to be able to see straight down. Okay, so on the passenger side, I said I was going to go through the garage. Same, pop it out, turn it back to lock it, turn it, pop it out and lock it. And then in the garage, we've got the things we need on this side being the blue for the toilet. Then we've got our cable. The plain side goes into the campsite, and then the side with that goes into the motorhome and making sure it goes inside. And then we've got our blue hose pipe. So you've got this, which obviously is the part that goes in to fill it. And then we do provide you with all of the fittings here. So then you've got your quick hose adapter, should there not be one on site. Always make sure they are back in there because you might have difficulty if you get to the next site and you've left that at a previous one. And of course, it can impact people after you. We always do check that they are in there, and those are like the little things that we will charge you for. They're not expensive, but obviously across all the motorhomes we have in a week, that could cost us up to £40. So pop them when you're done. And just note in mind on these vehicles, they are quite long. So you've got over 2 meters swing there. So when you are turning right, always watch your left mirror, and vice versa. When you're turning left, watch your right, just because this can come out when you are turning. Then here we've got our Truma outlet for our heating and boiler system. So just make sure that's not covered. As it says, it can get hot. Just make sure children aren't near it. And then just moving forward, same key again. We have got our toilet compartment here. So when it's open, press it and pull it. If it doesn't come out, it means the toilet is open inside. So go in and close that, because then it will come out. If you yank it, it will rip the bottom of the toilet off. So just pull that out. And then when you're ready to empty it, pull that forward, take the cap off, and then you're going to press the airlock and do this motion. Keep your face away from it because you can get splashback, which is horrendous. I know from experience. Then here, this is the solution, what we saw in the back. You fill it to the top line, put it in there, get a little bit of fresh water to get it reacting once you've cleaned it out. And then you just kind of go, pop that back in, and then it will click into place. So just making sure that obviously when you are done, you lock everything up. Stuff can go missing on campsites. Those are quite expensive. So if somebody has a broken one, they will try and swap that out. So just always lock everything away when you're done. Then we've got our extraction for the fridge system. Please do not take these to a jet car wash. We don't expect you to clean the outsides. Just make sure that they come back in whatever condition on the outside that they're in terms of dirt, because if someone was to spray a jet wash in there, it would knacker the fridge gubbins, and at the minute they're about £4,000. So please don't take them to a jet wash. Then you've got your habitation door, which works off this key as well. And then the last thing on this side, we have got our diesel and our AdBlue. So to open these, you need to first of all have the cab unlocked, and then open these up and close the door so you don't get the emissions from the pumps in. And it does say diesel, so there's no mistake there. So just always obviously read if you're not sure, it says diesel on it. The vehicles come full of fuel, please return them full of fuel. And then AdBlue, we always have them topped up, but it is your responsibility to top them up before you come back as well, because it is part of the running of the vehicle. If you're not sure about AdBlue, we do have a separate video for it. And it is just a case of topping it up to make sure it is always topped up, because the vehicle needs it. If you're on a longer trip, say you're going down to south of France, you will need to top it up, because it does use quite a lot of it, and the vehicle will stop if it gets too low. So just make sure that if it comes up on the screen and you're on a long trip and you're abroad or you're in Scotland, that you pop and get one and pop it in there to top it back up. Otherwise, the vehicle will not run. Welcome to the inside of Wayfarer. Quest is also the same, so it's for both vehicles. I'm going to start with the control panel over here, and to get that operational, it's obviously off at the moment, press the home button, and then that will start to load and bring on our tiles, which is our navigation through the system. So we've got resources, which I'm going to press. The starter battery is on amber, that will go up when it's driven. It has been parked here for 4 days. And then the leisure battery is on green, because of course it's a sunny day, there's solar on the roof, so that's always green. And then your fresh water is shown as 0 and red, meaning it's empty. And then your grey tank is shown at 33% with a little bit in it. And you can see there's a hole at the bottom which represents it's the grey tank. It's got 33% in it because we're actually cleansing the tanks at the moment, but just always helpful to see. To go back, we're going to press the arrow, and then we're going to go into switches. So in here, you've got your water pump that needs to be on if you want to get any water from any of the taps, and to obviously flush the toilet. So we have got that on. It's gurgling at the moment because there's no water in here, so I'm going to turn that off. And then we've got our outdoor light, which is just outside above the door. And then we've got our interior lights, and that's the master switch. So then you need to go and press all the little light switches around the vehicle to have them on. So I'm going to leave that on at the moment. Then we're going to go into room climate. So that one, we have got ventilating. If it's a warm day and you just want to circulate some fresh air from outside, you just put that up to 10, and then you'll start hearing the system working, and that will just bring some fresh air through. Then we're going to turn that off up in the top corner, and I'm going to go back to room climate and show the heating. So the heating is preset to gas at the moment. You can change that to electric or a combination of both, or turn the gas on and turn the electric on. Depending on the campsite, you may or may not have good strength, so sometimes it does require to add the gas on at the same time. So go back to the main page. We can see it's already pulsing because it's set to 22 and it's currently 18. So pulsing means it's getting to temperature. When it's got red circles around it constantly, it means it's reached the temperature that you want it to get to. To turn it off, press the off button at the top. Hot water is exactly the same situation. Same settings with the gas at the bottom. We can see it's set here for long shower, and it is going to start pulsing, and that means it is warming. And when it is constantly red, that means that it is at temperature of 70 degrees. So that's set to a long shower. It's done that, so it is intended that you do use the mixer taps, because it does come out at 70. So if you've got small children, please make sure that you do use the mixer tap. To go out, we're going to turn it off, as it will use the gas constantly. If you leave it on, it will not shut down. You've got notifications which will tell you anything that is wrong, and it does give you a script, and you'll have to scroll to the bottom and say rectified. And then we've got turn off the system, and you completely shut it down. So when you leave a site, always make sure you shut that down first. Then you go outside and you undo your hookup if you've got hookup, and you turn your gas off before you drive. And then you do the opposite when you get somewhere. You turn the gas on and or your electric hookup, plug it in, and then you come here and work it. Otherwise you will get error codes loaded up. So I'm just going to pop that on so I can show the rest of the motorhome and have some lights around the vehicle. So that's just coming back on, and I just got my switches. So interior lights, the master ones are just on the side here. And then we've got lights in various places. You've got digital light switches underneath, which are blue little lights, and they turn everything under the counters on. So in the kitchen area, we've got kitchen. You've got some oven mitts there, everything in there. Just make sure when you've moved, like I did, nice and slow, make sure nothing's moved around. You've got all your kitchen bits, plates, cafetiere, kettle, cups, fire extinguisher, fire blankets on the side, some cleaning products to get you going. We've got a hob, 3-ring hob. You just turn it and press to click to ignite it. When you put that glass cover down, please make sure that it is cool here. If you will put down when it is still hot, it will shatter and explode. So please make sure it's cool before you put it down. Then we have the oven. You've got the oven to that side. Click to ignite, and then you get your flame at the back. Turn it off. The grill is this way around. Hold, and then you will see the flame at the top come on, and then turn it off to turn it off. And then in here, in the cupboard, we've got a drawer, chest here with all your cutlery, pans, Pyrex dishes, flexi chopping boards, and everything that you will need to cook there. This cupboard doesn't have anything in it. And then you've got 2 cupboards overhead, which also don't have anything in. And then here we've got the fridge. So we're going to zoom around here and just look at the operation of the fridge. So to turn it on, you hold this far left button down. You'll see everything lights up, and this will be blue. It's gone to automatic, it's found gas, and it's on the maximum chill. We always leave it on the A, so then it will find what you need. So if you're on a campsite, it will find the plug, and that will go blue on the plug. And if you're driving, it will be on the battery. This then stays on a little blue light, and all of that goes off to save energy. So if you ever get flashing, you just reset it, hold that down to turn it off, and press it again, hold it to turn it on. Then to open the fridge, push that to the right, open the fridge. You've got freezer at the top, and then at the bottom, the drawer is also part of the fridge as well. So fridge operation is nice and easy. If you need to reset it, it's just a case of holding down, turning it off. Sometimes it's because if you stop the vehicle and then you haven't hooked up or turned gas on, that's when it starts flashing. So just literally turn it off and turn it back on. So that's everything in our kitchen area. Blinds are on every window, so you pull them down, and there are various places you can stop. You push them towards, and then to put them up, you slightly push down and pull towards you, and then they go all the way up. And there's also fly screens on every window as well. So all of the blinds are that kind of mechanism. Please make sure children do not use them. They are quite delicate, and they can tear, and they are quite costly, so we will have to charge you for those. So please make sure that you keep children away from the blinds. Then coming into the bedroom, the toilet door does double up as a bedroom door. So if you're a 4 and you're using that bed up there, you can close the door and have some privacy when you're sleeping. But if you come on in this way, we've got our centre bed. We provide you with pillows, microfiber towels, and the duvet. You've got storage in both sides. There are hanging space if you bring hangers. We don't provide them because a lot of customers don't like them because they jingle when they're driving. So we've taken them out. So if you do want hangers, bring your own, please. And then you've got storage up there, which is also empty, and storage on that side. And then in here, you have got the blinds up above, which you pull. They are blackout. And you've got the skylight, and then you've got your fly screen. Always make sure the skylights are closed when you're driving. It does just adds extra wind if you go somewhere, but also if you don't secure them, they can flap and smash. And again, they are quite costly. So there is a TV in here. We always say the TVs are an extra that we obviously have bought as a business. We don't guarantee them. It depends where you're on. Signal strength. We like to think you're coming on a nice adventure and you're all going to play cards or something and be together. So we kind of don't take any responsibility for TVs. If you are a person that relies on the TV, bring your own device, load it up, bring DVDs. DVDs will go in there, but we do not guarantee signal. It's not what you were hiring. It's just a little extra that's in here. Then coming in here, we have got the shower. So this shower is lovely, lovely big size, which is unusual in a motorhome. So you can see we've got 2 doors, one this side. Always make sure the screens are closed when you're showering because motorhome floors are very delicate. This one on this side, and it comes around in the shape, and then you can see it's a lovely size to be in. That step there is obviously the wheel arch, so the wheel is under there, which is why it's there. We get asked that question quite often. And then in the toilet side, I'm just going to squeeze in here, close this door out, and then we can see in here we have got the toilet and the sink. So sink is standard. I'm not going to go through that. It's just going to tap on it. And then the toilet, what we were talking about outside, this is the slider. So the bottom of the toilet will open, and that's what we said, it's the state when it doesn't come out. So you need to come in here, close that, and then you have your flush as well. Just remind that it's not an actual flush, it's just like a jet. And when the toilet is being used, always make sure the bottom is open. I have been caught out on that one. So the rule is when you go into the loo, the bottom needs to be open, and the rest of the time it's closed, so it doesn't have sloshing when you're driving and splashing out and all on the walls. And also when you're in here, it just stops the smells coming up. So that's the toilet. And then I'm going to go back this way, nice and compact in this little part. And then towards the front, the extra bed is here. The ladder is on that bed there. And then you just make sure this TV is out of the way. There's nothing on the counters. I have exploded a wine glass before now, left it on the table, and it will come down and it will stop where it needs to. So you can see there's little hooks on this one to put your ladder, and you've got your mattress. This is a sort of a double at the top, but it does cut off here. But I've slept in here no problem with an adult. And then you do have the wafers under here, which you can secure on these hooks if you are putting children in there. We do just like to remind you, they are anti-rolls, they are not playpens. So if a child does lean on them, they will collapse. So just they are only anti-roll, okay? When you're done, make sure all of the bedding is off. The bedding is in the cupboard, under the bed, rather. And make sure all bedding is off. This is nice and tight, so it cannot get trapped in the mechanisms. And make sure it is all the way up. So when you are driving, it does need to be all the way up so it locks into place and it's not going to jiggle around and break. And make sure that is up. And the bedding is for this one is located under the front of the bed there. In the front end of the vehicle, we've got the seating. So 2 travelling seats here, obviously the front travelling seats. We've got USB ports in that circle there. And then I'm just going to come around here and show how these chairs turn. So on top of the normal long slider that you go backwards and forwards on, there is another bar, and this does need to be up, otherwise it won't turn. So you can see you just have to adjust it ever so slightly to make sure it will get all the way around. So I do need to be a little bit further forwards as well. There we go. So here is the bar that spins it. And then once you've got it around, you just obviously need to put it back to the reclining position that you like. And then you can sit there. This one also turns. So if I can do this one nice and more smoothly than that one, probably. And then you need to pull it forward so it doesn't hit the steering wheel. And you can push the steering wheel in and put that back up. And then you turned all the way around. This table then, you squeeze, it comes forward and it does center. So you can dine 2 here, 1 there and 1 there really easily. And that is the front end of the vehicle. Then the only other thing that we do have are the window covers for the front of the cab, which are in this little pack here. So there are 1 for each side and 1 for the big window. You can see the poppers, the foil side faces outwards, and the little poppers magnet suction pad onto there. When you take them out, please make sure you pull the little bits. Don't pull the fabric because the eyelet can go and it will tear them, and then it just spoils it for the people after you. So when you're taking them out, just make sure you pull the little plunger bit. And then you also have blinds on the top windows and fly screens, and you can obviously close them at night time. So that is everything in Wanderer and Quest, Wayfarer and Quest. If you do need us whilst you're out, give us a call on the landline number or email us. If you need us out of hours, please WhatsApp us on the landline number. It is on the emails that we have sent you. And we do ask after 10 o'clock. It is extreme emergencies only. Not that you can't locate something, that you've broken down or you've had an accident or something. That's what we class as an emergency after 10 o'clock at night. We are, of course, here to help, which you have seen from our reviews. We can't wait to see you and welcome you on board and set you off on your adventure. And if you need anything demonstrated from this video in person, the team will be more than happy to do that.